Haitian, and I love Haitians, and let me tell you why in particular. Two reasons, actually. One, my OBGYN is Haitian, and I absolutely love him. He's so amazing, so amazing. Very affectionate, just the best doctor ever, and that was my first passionate love with Haitians. And second that was my son's first mission trip, and he had just a fantastic experience in that country, and in particular because that was the first time he ever heard the voice of God, and I love it because this is what he heard God say. He heard God say, "You need to listen to your parents."
That was a good thing, wasn't it?
That was a great thing. But it was a life-impacting experience for him. And he'll tell you to this day, his life has never been the same as a result of it. He spent some time there with a missionary that we support. And they were able to teach English, and they worked in the schools there. So it was a tremendous experience while he was there in Haiti. So tell us a little bit about your experience growing up.
How everybody doing today?
All right.
My name is Jean-Francois. When I first got here to Louisiana, when I went to school, it was the only state that can actually say my name right. Everybody said Richard John Francisco, but when I finally got here and I got around Creole people, Louisiana people, I started hearing people saying Jean-Francois, and I was like, that's beautiful, just hearing it. Haitian descent, born in Haiti, brought over there at 3 years old. Stayed in Miami ever since. Had an older brother that's artistic, but that's my right-hand man. Got two other sisters. Grew up in the Miami area. I ain't gonna say low class, but we made it. We made the best out of it. My dad's a bus driver. My mom, she did the best she can. She was going from job to job to job to make the best of it. I always had to find. I had like I said, I had Haitian parents, so you ain't go out that door. You went outside. Went to school, came in, did your classwork, cleaned up the house, and that's it. I never saw outside that door. Because my parents seen how it was in Haiti and seen how it was in American culture and what we was. I grew up in Liberty City. That's probably one of the worst neighborhoods in Miami. So they were just always trying to keep me inside. But being as a kid, we always want to be at the door. We usually want to be doing something. It don't make no difference on the outside. But as this day, I figured out as I got older why they kept me in the house. Now I see the reason. Like a lot of times when people always say you need to listen to your parents, even though as kids, we kind of hard headed. But once you get older, you figure out like that's what my mom told me this. This is why my dad told me this. Moved out of Liberty City, moved to Carroll City, a little bit better neighborhood. Dad kept doing bus driving. I went to Carroll City Elementary, did my education there, then went to the middle school, went to high school. And there's one thing I heard what she said when I was in high school. I didn't have it. We was Haitian, so we had to make the best of it. I only had like 2-3 pair of shoes from 9th to 12th grade. I only had like 2-3 pair of shoes. My brother was the same, my sister was the same. We just had to make the best of it. Then one day I was probably walking down the street, and one of the guys that was on the block told me, like, you gotta get into sports. And I was like, I said, nah, I'm ready to play street football, basketball. He said, nah, you need to get in sport. And from ever since then, I always did that. And from my mom going from job to job, I had to take care of my brother, my oldest brother. So I always had to, once school was over, I had to go straight to my home, away from my brother, because he went to another school, Barbara Goldman, and I had to pick him up from there and had to bring him to football practice, basketball practice, track practice. So I did this more from 9th to 12th grade. But I just wanted to do that because I ain't seen no wrong. This is my brother. I call him my right-hand man. I just wanted my mom and dad to do what they got to do. So everybody had to have a hand in the house. Graduated from there. I had got a scholarship to Louisiana State University. That was a blessing. Being as parents, sometimes y'all don't like to let kids go. It was kind of hard to get to LSU because my mom, I was a baby boy. She didn't want to let me leave. She wanted me to stay at school closer. My dad, he had his favorite school, but at the end of the day, it worked out for the best. I went to LSU. Got there, and it felt like at that time, my mom always had me in the church when I was in high school. She kept me there. I don't care what you did on Saturday. On Sunday, came 8, 9 o'clock, was out the house, and went to church. That was getting done. I was staying with it. I didn't understand, as still young, I didn't understand why she was having me in the church. But when I got older and I got to college, it's like, you growing up being a man, but you don't know the direction you're going. It's like, you Haitian, but at the same time, you gotta know you're American too, so you gotta know how things flow. I feel like when I got to college, it's like, I lost myself a little bit. I was trying to find myself at the same time I lost it. All I had to do was go back into the church, and I know I'd be good, but I still had little things outside in the world that was pulling me away, and I did just that. Went there for 4 years, left, got drafted to San Francisco 49. That was a blessing. That was the most happy day with my mom, basically, because at the time I was driving around. I went to the beach because at the time where I thought I was particularly going to go, I did go. So at that time, I remember just sitting on the beach talking to myself, just asking God, like, wherever you want me to go, put me down. I don't care if you give me drafted. I don't care if you give me free agent. Just put me wherever you felt. So I was just driving on, and as soon as I pulled up to the front door, my mom started screaming. So I'm thinking somebody burned something in the house. And she just ran with the phone in her hand, and I'm like, what happened? Somebody on the phone. So I'll tell you, I heard like a demanding voice on the phone. It was like, the name Ricky Jean-Francois. I was like, yes. Who is this? They're like, you don't know who? I'm like, no, not at all. And he was like, it's Mike Singletary, San Francisco 49ers. Would you like to come to San Francisco? I'm like, yeah, who wouldn't like to come to San Francisco? I was like, yes, dude. I see my mom just break down the tears and all. And I just told her, I was like, we haven't made it yet. We took one step, but I said, at the end of the day, I said, I promise you I'll get you where you want to. I learned a lot being in California. It's different cultures, like just being around different people, and not just being around just the people you used to being around in Miami. That's all I knew. I never left. Once I left Haiti, all I knew was Miami. I didn't go outside of I-95. I never went that far. To get drafted out there and met different people, had a good time, had met with guys like Steve Jobs, God bless his soul, of Apple, owner of Microsoft, owner of Twitter, owner of Facebook, and I was an engineer geek, so I like to be around guys like that. I learned a lot, made a run at the Super Bowl, so I'm thirsty for championships. But at the time I was going through the NFL San Francisco, I always came back home. And in my high school, nobody who did make it came back to high school for nothing. They did not come back to our school for nothing. Nobody would ever come down 103rd Street to Carroll City, but the same kids that was there looked up to guys like us. When I was there, I looked up to guys who were there, like Santana Moss and stuff. Right now he's playing for the Redskins. So when I came back, I wanted the kids to have the same opportunity as me. And I understand at that time, like I said, kids won't listen to a parent because they don't see the parent go through what we go through. So every time I went back, I talked to kids. It didn't matter if I talked to a whole room, as long as I got in touch with 3, 4 of them, and I knew I changed their life to keep moving on. I understand there's going to be obstacles out there that you're going to want to be with your friends, you're going to be with that. At the end of the day, like I told kids, if that's your real friend, he'll push you away from anything. Anything he knows that's going to put you on harm's way, that's going to be bad for you, that's going to get you case up or something, they'll push you away. They might keep doing it, but they won't allow you. And I had guys like that around my neighborhood. They made sure that I got away from everything. So I was at Carroll City Senior High. I donate, no matter what it is. If they need computers, they need iPads, they need jerseys, equipment, anything. I always go back and donate and just talk to the kid. Just being in the presence of a kid that play high school ball. Like first, like I said, just being there, you see like NFL playing in front of you, you like, I want to be that way. And just telling them, like, just don't look at what you see on TV. You see the flash, the fame, and all that. That's the thing that everybody gets, like a misconception. You don't know what we go through. We wake up 7 a.m. in the morning, and we don't go to sleep till 9, and you got to do it again for 6, 7 months straight. And in the off season, you think you really take a vacation. You might take a 2-week vacation. After that, you're back at it again, trying to get your body prepared for another 6, 7 month season. So every time I'm around a kid or knowing I can impact a kid, I always want to do that. I sit and have a full-on conversation with them until the point I know they feeling what I'm saying. They're just not saying, what about the cars, what about the street? It ain't about that. I don't, like most people say, it's nice to have it, but it's not about that. It's a bigger picture, and that's the thing I would try to tell kids. You gotta stop looking at the minor things. You gotta look at the bigger picture of things. And if you keep your mind on the bigger picture, you will hit every goal without you even knowing. Okay, you strive to get to that, trying to strive to get to that position. Did my 4 years in San Francisco, went to Indianapolis, and I remember it took me and my mom was going back and forth about contracts. And to me, I thought I wouldn't lowball myself for the number I asked. She was like, if you knew you worked hard for it, you know you dedicated yourself, you knew you did hard work, you knew you was in church, you knew you was in Bible study, you knew you was in all that, why would you lowball yourself? And I was like, I don't know, that's how I felt. But she seen the bigger picture, and that's why I love having my mom and my dad around. They'll tell you something that you don't see, but just having your parents, they'll show you everything that you won't see in front of you. It's hard for us to believe it, because we don't see it at the time. I remember sitting in Philadelphia U's room and negotiating back and forth, and I heard, got a phone call from the Indianapolis coach from the owner, and he made a phone call to me. He was like, Ricky, we're not going back and forth with you. Whatever you want, just tell us. So when he said that, I hung up the phone. I was there, my agent. I was like, what? And at that time, I never thought I'd see myself in a position at that time that I could call out a number and the man would be like, yes. So we picked the phone back up. I shot a number to him. He was like, all I want you to do is come to this address. And I didn't know what the address was, so me and my agent, we went to the location. It was a private airport. I'm asking where airline we finna get on, American Southwest, something. And all I remember by the time we got there, we saw a G5 jet come in with Indianapolis coach. We got there, my mom said, before you get on the plane, I just want you to duck off somewhere and just say a prayer to God. She's like, I don't know nobody around, anything like that. Just duck off, say what you want, and leave it at that. Don't worry, nothing. Got in at night, went to sleep. Remember, I met the coaches the next day and everything. We was just talking, and I remember walking in the negotiation room, and all I saw was my agent and a piece of paper in front of them, and both of them was like with the biggest smile ever. And I'm like, what's it with y'all smiling for? They were like, look at the number. And when I saw it, like I just broke out crying. I was like, I've never seen numbers like this before. It was like, what you crying about? Like, I said, y'all negotiated. That's different. I'm the one who's gonna sign this piece of paper. And I remember when I signed it, I called my mom and dad, and I was like, man, just gonna look for a house. Like, I was just saying, I don't want anything. I'm like, I basically feel like I did this for y'all. Yeah. Y'all did the best as parents, raising me, showing me right and wrong, getting me up morning, putting food in my mouth, closing my back, a roof over my head, just showing me everything. And I was like, I said, this for y'all. I'm like, I don't want nothing. And I remember just sitting on the plane and just having like an all-time highlight. My parents, they finally get from where they at. They can finally do whatever they want. My dad don't have to kill himself every day going to work. My dad like 61 years old. He ain't got to get up 5 a.m. mornings no more. That's an option to him now. Yeah. If he wants to, he can do it. If he don't want to, he's still in that bed. My mom the same way. My mom the same way. Like to her, I remember looking at her every day, looking at her, I think it was HGTV, looking at all the designing these things in the house, how to put things together. And I remember just telling her how to get a house, but she didn't really have it set in like I can really get a house. So one day I remember just going out searching for a house. And one day I went and grabbed me blindfold. I said, I got a surprise for you. So I took it to a new house and I gave her the keys and I was like, this yours. Until the day she said she lived this dream and she never want to wake up. But at the same time, like I said, I'm a right-hand man. I always keep my brother with me. Anything he wants, that man got. Anything my sister, my brother want, it's a blessing just to see that everybody who had their hands in on you, especially your family, had their hands in on you, that kept you in line, that did everything that, as a kid, you get mad at them because you don't understand why they're doing it. But now, like I said, we get to the bigger picture. You get to it. Now you see the reason why they did everything. And I love my parents. I love everything I do. I love, like, just giving back at the same time. When Ms. Hill called me, she was like, Rick, you know, we got an event going on up here. Can't you make it happen? We look back in the uniform. And I was like, I said, okay, I'm going to try my best. I'm like, the kids need it. That's all that matters to me. Because when I was a kid in high school, I always one of the guys that came back the other than what you guys need. And they ain't telling me a price or nothing. It was like, just tell her what you need and we'll get it. And when she said that, we need it. I remember she kept saying, let's get on the meeting on the phone. I was like, okay. But one time I ended up going to sleep, my mistake. I I didn't know her lady on the phone, so the next day when we talked, I know I was kind of short, and I know she was kind of quiet because all I was saying, yes, okay. And I know Miss Kara, she was talking, but she was like, okay, I know Rick needs to say more words than what he's saying. So one day I was just like, I called up my guy, Mr. Alan Hobbs, my PR guy for JL Sport, and I was like, whatever they want, go ahead and get that done. Even though if I'm not at the event or not, just make sure you get that done for them, because like I said, at the same time, I would want those same guys to come back to our high school, our elementary, and did the same thing for us.
Amen.